Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to a brand new TW9 video. You join us today for another edition of AEW Dynamite followed by Rampage and Collision. So a little bit of tidying up to cover before we get into this week's episode. Wednesday 11th of December, so the first Dynamite after my birthday, sadly not on the exact day. But the few wee things to tidy up is one. So we offered the contract to Lyra Valkyrie literally the 30-day market. We obviously agreed a written deal, and then it came up WWE offered an exclusive written deal. So I was like, alright, cool, I'll just release her. There's no chance we're going to get her to sign this contract anyway, because she'll just sign with WWE, and that with her. She never signed that contract. Nothing happened. It just expired, and she left WWE. Pretty much the news item before this particular episode, so I'm intrigued to see what happens with that, because I don't actually know if the deal's still on the table. But obviously, we released her, she won't talk to us, but maybe at one point there could be an opportunity to bring her in. But yeah, just that was a wee update on that one. So I quite like that idea that contracts aren't being offered by the WWE or any expiring written contract exclusively straight away. We're in the market for one or two, because I do want more depth in my women's division. So we're going to look at that one. And the final one is, while we will have Battle of the Belts, we will have some matches, probably more to do with the Alliance titles, because we want a bit more control. So yeah, if you thought AEW had enough title belts beforehand, there's going to be some more now. And yeah, we might actually have title changes on Battle of the Belts, unlike real life as well. There's a few things I've been looking at that are a wee bit of intrigue. It may happen, say, not 2024, maybe not even 25 or 26. Maybe in 27, like properly just taking all the ROH assets and maybe making one show EW, one show ROH. But that could be something that's maybe 3 years in the pipeline. So I'm intrigued what your thoughts are on that. I know a lot of people are quite curious that AEW should maybe do that in real life. But it's just small ideas, as I say. This is going to be as far from reality as possible. So yeah, this is going to go in some weird ways. But anyway, that's me blathered done. I think it's time to light the fuse and have some AEW Dynamite. Let's do it. So in Levy Center, we're in California, and we start off with some action in the Continental Classic. Good Wild Brawl match. Bobby Lashley, 15-minute Wild Brawl. Good for the stamina, but he drew with Kinosuke Takeshi. That's a draw when the time limit expired at 15 minutes. 66 for wrestling, 56 for the crowd, 67 for the segment, so pretty good opener. You can see there, 55 for Bobby's performance, Takeshita brings a 76, the storyline advances. We deployed Ricochet's storyline idea. Alright, I thought that'd actually need to involve Ricochet, that's going to make the next angle a bit null and void, but Bobby was off his game, which is a bit disappointing, because that maybe could have raised him a bit of 58 or a 59. Will Ospreay has received a morale boost because of the successful storyline idea. This show uses a lot of that kind of stuff, but I do feel as I get more and more into the game, more and more experience with it, the idea of storyline angles, gimmick angles, finishes, I'm starting to utilise them a lot. It was just getting my head around there being so many, because you're getting like 3 or 4 a show, so and with a big roster it's quite hard to keep eye on, and you don't want to go with too many that are high risk as well. But good stuff there. As I say, a draw in the first match of the Continental Classic today, and that for some reason has not popped up as a Continental Classic matchup. I'll have to have a look at that. We'll check that after the show. Maybe I made a mistake there. Anyway, it was still good to have the match anyway. And maybe it doesn't do draws. We'll figure that out later. Anyway, 4-minute brawl after this. Basically, while that was taking place, we had Powerhouse Hobbs and Shelton Benjamin from the Hurt Syndicate taking on Ricochet and Will Ospreay, and it's just a complete brawl around the arena. So 54, storyline advances, loses a little bit of heat, and Will Ospreay looked good in it. Moving along, we then had some words from Hangman Adam Page. He has some words to say about Darby Allin and Mick Foley, and he says Darby and Mick have been just getting into his head. Mick Foley was in the wrong place at the wrong time, said the wrong things, and so Hangman is just going to make his life a living hell. That's why he beat him up. So, and he doesn't want to be held responsible for what he's going to do to Mick Foley if he gets in his face again. Basically, we're setting up, as you can clearly see by the storyline name, one final match. 54 for Hangman's promo. We then had some action in the women's division. Megan Bayne defeats Sandra Moon in 3:19. Storyteller match. Just a local enhancement talent happy to put Megan Bayne over in a 20 rated segment. Simple and effective. After the matchup, we had some words from the full faction. That was, of course, Deonna Purrazzo alongside Megan Bayne and Taya Valkyrie. They had some words for Io Shirai as they spoke to Renee Paquette. Deonna just basically saying, that Megan Bayne is a star. Like, Io Shirai has got a one thing coming if she thinks she can get the better of Megan. She got lucky against Taya Valkyrie, but she won't be lucky if she crosses paths with them again. So 46, Renee was a star. Megan Bayne's getting better at her gimmick. Next up, in a decent matchup in the women's division, Toni Storm defeats Anna Jay in 10:15 with a strong 0. A simple match to give Toni Storm some positive momentum, and hopefully wrestling someone like Toni Storm can benefit the attributes and development of Anna Jay. A 52 for the wrestling, 45 for the crowd, 59 for the segment. Toni far greater than Anna, but you feel like giving her these matches, and also with her continually having the training drills with QT Marshall, can help her, and she can be a real asset, because she's getting a lot of the more senior wrestlers saying, she's going to be a star in the future post shows. So I'm hoping we can turn that potential into her actual skill set. Next up, we basically had Mariah May backstage cutting some words on Toni Storm. She says, "Don't care what you do, don't care how many wins you get, you're never taking this championship away from Mariah." So 55, storyline advances, Mariah going off script and performed well. Moving along into the Continental Classic, and in the blue group we had Katsuyori Shibata defeat Sammy Guevara in 9:44 with a G2 PK. Go Shibata. But yeah, basically these two are pretty similar in terms of in-ring performance, and yeah, simple 64, 44, 65. Shibata picks up some points in the Continental Classic. We then had Mercedes Mone alongside Camille, Renee Paquette, rather remarkable Renee Paquette on the interview here. So this one was Mercedes saying she may have lost the TBS Championship, she will get that back, but she is still the NJPW Strong Women's Champion. I believe she's got one of them, I think it is that one. And she will be looking to defend that at Battle of the Belts. So that's how we can start that matchup coming up for Mercedes. It's likely just to be someone from Stardom, but hopefully just to try see how the match goes, and yeah, utilising talents out with the company as well, because there is like 5 belts we can use from that alliance. So yeah, we might, of course, one of them being the International Championship. But yeah, Mercedes versus mystery opponent for the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Championship. Next up in the Continental Classic Red Group, Daniel Garcia in a good match defeats Orange Cassidy by submission with a sharpshooter. So the Garcia push is really kicking on here. 2 good performances, 71 and 67, 69, 55, 67 overall. So Garcia's slowly but surely really starting to deliver, our TNT champion. Then I had a little promo here. It was from Claudio Castagnoli, the AEW World Champion, and John Moxley. And they were just having some words basically talking about the challenger to the championship at World's End. That is, of course, Darby Allin. And Mox again getting into the head of Wheeler Yuta. Again, just saying both of them are just small. They might come in as underdogs, but they are not even at the level of the Blackpool Combat Club. So 60 for the segment. Storyline advances. We then had a decent matchup here as Athena defeated Queen Aminata in 10:48 with the O-Face. These two have performed against each other before, but I felt like I wanted to run it back and give Athena another good victory. 66 for the segment as a whole. She's benefiting from being in an amazing forum, and yeah, these two deliver good stuff for the TBS champion. Of course, the title was not on the line in this instance. But speaking of the title, the next contender has stepped forward, and it is Stat, as we see Chris Statlander beat down and attack Athena before posing with the TBS Championship. So the former champion wants her belt back, a 48 segment, and we are going straight with 2 segments to turn the Fallen Goddess babyface. Solves the problem of having a lot of heel champions, solves the problem of having Mercedes very over as a heel, and yeah, Athena and the game says she's better as a face as well, so we can utilise that to our advantage. We then had a little segment here. Oh, this actually turned out to be very good. So just basically had Okada beat the crap out of Christopher Daniels before his match tonight. Of course, you're looking at this and going, what does this have to do with anything? Technically, it's going to take us somewhere. So the segment was a 63. It's advanced the AEW Elite storyline. I had to end it, so yeah, we managed to end it. I got to use the storyline idea. That was deployed. That was a success. And because of that, Jack Perry and Buddy Matthews both received morale boosts because of the successful storyline idea. It is going to lead to something. So basically, the New Japan Pro Wrestling Television Champion, I think it is Jacob, what is his name completely? Jeff Cobb. I don't know why I was getting Jacob Fatu probably, but Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb got injured with a year-long injury, so the title was vacated. So just because it had not been defended, Christopher Daniels became the champion. Christopher Daniels, I guess, is going to put that title on the line at Battle of the Belts. Not against Okada, but I think you can realise where that opponent is going to be, because somebody could benefit from going to New Japan, if I couldn't make that more obvious. But I've got 2 weeks, well, I've got 10 days to book that. And main event. So this one did work as a Continental Classic. This one had good wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Okada draws with Roddy Strong in 15 minutes with the time limit expiring. These two went out to steal the show, so both of them get a point. 66, 654 and 66 for the segment as a whole, so may lose pop here. So despite it being a fairly strong show, it may lose pop because the main event and Top Angle didn't deliver to the great levels. But you're happy with this one, it keeps both of them looking strong. Obviously a few negatives there, including both of them being heels, but that's the joy of the Continental Classic. So we finish it up. We lose popularity in 2, we gain in 3, and a 65 overall. Yeah, that's fine. I actually thought it was pretty decent, but if your main event doesn't deliver and you don't have a really, really strong promo, I think our strongest promo was probably Okada beating down Daniels. So that's fine. But I feel like you don't need to rush everything as long as some of the storylines, as much as we want the company to grow, we need some of the wrestlers to grow in popularity as well. So we'll finish up. Locker room incidents, nothing happened. Address the locker room, that's fine. So what we're going to check is 2 things. Dynamite got a 1.52. We're going up. There's that whole thing with Lyra Valkyrie. So the deal, she's not talking to anyone. She won't speak to us, as you can see. We'll monitor it. And yeah, just Sammy Okada. I've got the growing schedule, that's fine. But it was basically the Continental Classic. Takeshita had already faced Lashley. Had he really? I had nothing pop up for the match history, because Takeshita has got to face Orange Cassidy and Adam Page, Wheeler Yuta and Adam Page for Lashley. Oh well, my mistake. But if you look at the standings before I jump into Rampage and Collision, you can see there 9 points for Lashley, 9 points for Wheeler Yuta, 6 for Daniel Garcia, but he's technically eliminated because Yuta needs to face Lashley. It would need a bit of a miracle, I think. I mean, I suppose he could easily get 1 match, I suppose. I suppose you could get him in 9, you could get Takeshita in 9. Orange Cassidy's pretty much out there with 1 match left, and Hangman will only end up in 6. So yeah, you're looking at a scenario where you've got Takeshita, Garcia, Yuta and Lashley for 2 positions. If we go to the B group, you can see Okada has 10 with 1 match remaining. Samoa Joe could get to 12, Jay White could get to 12, Roddy Strong could get to 10, and it's elimination so far for Katsuyori Shibata and Sammy Guevara. So remember, it is of course first in the red plays second in the blue, and then vice versa in the semis, and then the final, which takes place at World's End between the 2 winners of that, which will be for the Continental Classic crown and the championship itself. God damn it, Tony, why could you not make these things a lot easier? But anyway, thank you very much for watching the first part. It's time to go and book Rampage, and then Colliders assemble. Let's do it. So, Colliders, you have assembled, but before we dive into Collision, I've got the small matter of recapping Rampage. Opening contest saw Chris Statlander defeat Yuka Sakazaki. She then cut some words on her upcoming match, whenever that may be, or just her feud at the moment, but it will be a match obviously between her and Athena. That got a 49. Sandra Moon was obviously still in the book, so she also put over Camille in a squash match that was a 22. Malachi Black defeats Colt Cabana, which was a 56, before we heard words from the Kings of the Black Throne, mentioning not only just the Grizzled Young Veterans, but also FTR. We had Private Party defeat the Outrunners. We had Lee Moriarty defeat Commander in a 63 rated match, which was pretty good. Before Johnny TV beat him down, he wants revenge, I suppose, for the defeat last week on Collision, which will set up their match tonight and get them their second match. And I kind of forgot to put it on Dynamite, because she was obviously local. We brought in Brie Danielson, sorry, it should be said, and she just spoke on, thank you to AEW. You've been fantastic for my husband. He's missing being away full time, but yeah, just respect the fact that he's a family man. But she just says from him, from her, from the family, thank you, basically. So that was my idea with that. Just a nice wee gesture. But we'll move on to Collision. I'm getting better with these shows, by the way, in the sense of we're getting like 15, 16 segments a show, and this is well long-term matches as well, long matches. So I'm quite happy with that. Stuff's starting to flow. And this is going to end up in a situation where I have a hell of a lot of episodes backdated compared to what's actually on YouTube. But that's good, because most importantly that means we're enjoying the save. And that's most of the battle. If you're having fun, then that's it. So without further ado, we've enjoyed Rampage. It's time to Collide. So Collide we shall, and we are in front of a sold out 3,500 in the Abe Lemons Arena. And we start the show off with some action in the red group of the Continental Classic. And it was about that had some good heat and decent wrestling, as we saw Bobby Lashley defeat Wheeler Yuta in 13:37 by pinfall with a spear. This was a 62 rated wrestling match and a 65 overall. Wheeler Yuta with a pretty impressive 65 performance, but I think this, if I'm right in saying, puts Bobby Lashley into the top two of the group, which means he should be automatically through to the last four. And after it, Yuta starts to pick himself up, and then out of nowhere, the man that is trying to get into his head, that's trying to tear him apart, is of course Jon Moxley, and Moxley just gives him a complete dominating beatdown and leaves Wheeler Yuta just lying there to be carried to the back. So a 69 segment, and the storyline continues. Moving along with a little bit of a squash match here, which was our tell the story match, our storytelling match of the evening. And about that had some good heat, not much heat, and terrible wrestling. Chris Statlander defeats Rebel with a 4-5-1. You can see the Rebel offered game only an 18, Stat with a 53. I probably should utilise Stokely more, doing some good work at ringside, or maybe I'm just doing an AEW at this point. But overall, this segment drew a 48, which is pretty solid stuff. Next up, carrying on from that angle we had last show, Jack Perry cuts some words on Christopher Daniels, and he just says, that's a pretty interesting championship you've got, that New Japan World title. It would be a shame if that had to come to the Elite. So after Okada obviously destroyed Daniels last week, a 47 segment. I really just want Jack Perry doing some Japan shows as well. So if I get him working with New Japan, even better for his development. So that's the plan there. We then had a little promo with Rush alongside the remarkable Renee Paquette, and they discuss Rush's situation with Hologram. Rush says, he's had enough of Hologram, and next week, don't mess with the Bulls, because he's going to get the horns. So a 42 for this segment. The storyline advances and gains heat. Renee's performance was fantastic, and Rush has benefited from that hot catchphrase. So 42 for that. Next up, we had a decent matchup that saw Mercedes Mone defeat Ty Mello in 10:04 by pinfall. Just a wee quick match, well, I'll say quick match, it's 10 minutes, but to really just get Mercedes some positive momentum again. I feel sorry for Ty Mello, she's pretty talented, but just her order in the pecking order is basically putting over the other talents at this point. But they came together to get a very good 60 rated segment. And after it, Mercedes alongside the intimidating Camille start to beat down on Tamello before we get the confirmation of her challenger for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship at Battle of the Belts. And from New Japan Pro Wrestling, that is Starlight Kid, so she makes the save and chases off Mercedes and Camille. That got a segment rating of 40. So you've already got 2 matches for Battle of the Belts. Next up, we had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd in the blue group of the Continental Classic, as Switchblade Jay White defeated Sammy Guevara in 10:57 with the Blade Runner. I made this my Steal of the Show match, and it's probably Jay White's best match so far. The wrestling was a 69, the crowd not so much in it, but a 49, but the segment got a 71. Both guys had great chemistry, so that's good to know for the future. And Switchblade pretty much confirms the elimination of Sammy Guevara. Moving further on, we hear from FTR, and they say they're going to be monitoring the match between the Kings of the Black Throne and the Grizzled Young Veterans as they look to become tag team champions again. Simple, effective, a 45. It continues the storyline. It's maybe not been the greatest for me between the Grizzled Young Vets and FTR, but I still feel I need to try and get the tag division cooking. I feel like I've neglected the Trios division as well, so that's on me. Admittedly, the Continental Classic has took the forefront of the male situation, and obviously I'm trying to push as many women as possible, so it does leave the undercard a little thin for now. We then have a hype package detailing the... Is it Emperor? I keep forgetting what my nickname is in WWE. Can you remind me, Io? It's just not on the top of my head, but it's Io Shirai. She's incredible. She's fantastic. And it's a 50 rated hype segment for her. We then had a Wild Brawl match, which saw some more action in the Continental Blue Group. And Samoa Joe defeats Roderick Strong in 11:58 by the Kikuina Clutch. Pretty similar in terms of performances. I think Joe would probably put a 60 as well if he wasn't off his game. Guys with good chemistry together, which is good to see. And this segment was a 65. Don't worry about reminding me about what Io Shirai's nickname was. I'll probably have realised within 2 minutes of this video finishing. It's because I don't watch WWE. Some of the stuff just goes whoop over my head. But yeah, good stuff there. Happy with that. We then had some words from... Oh, would I say words now? I wouldn't say words. I just basically see Mick Foley getting attended to by EMTs, getting taken away. And obviously we just confirm obviously this was done by Hangman Adam Page, hence why off screen. So the one final match total in advances, it was a 51 segment. You don't want Foley coming straight back saying, right, let's go, let's fight. We do it to sell the injury, and obviously for that match to take place at World's End. Well, this flopped. I thought it would be better than this. Decent matchup anyway, decent reaction. Subpar wrestling. Lee Moriarty defeats Johnny TV in 8:41 with a Tiger Driver 18. Just making use of the second promise. So just to get Lee 2 wins there. A 49, Lee off his game, and obviously penalised because it being 2 heels. There is big long-term plans for Lee Moriarty, but yeah, it's just a case of giving him as many of these wins as you can. We then had a brawl between Cleo Castagnoli and Darby Allin. Now you see video package, so my idea in my head here was Darby's at his skate park, just skating along. Claudio tries to get the upper hand on him there. He visits him in Seattle somewhere, and they just basically start brawling for the full video before Claudio scurries after maybe getting attacked by a skateboard. So 58 for the segment, storyline advances, lost a bit of heat. My worry is that these two don't deliver a main event that gains this pop, but we'll see what happens. As I say, it's a championship, so it has to main event. We might be a bit short on star power with Foot Brian, but we do get a lot of people back in January. And just to confirm as well, like that first pay-per-view, that Wrestle Dynasty, is like the week after World's End, so a lot of matches will be made on the spot on the night, and obviously people in from New Japan and CMLL. Our main event was pretty good though. It was about had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. It's another draw as Orange Cassidy draws with Kinosuke Takeshita in 15 minutes when the time limit expired. So doing quite a lot of those in the Continental Classic. 72 from Orange Cassidy, 83 from Takeshita, so obviously their skill set's superior in the split to their wrestling ability. to their overness. And yeah, they've delivered a pretty solid match, which should see us gain a bit of pop there. Any negatives? None, actually. Oh, good stuff. So overall, the show was a 74. So it just shows you, you can have a pretty average show overall, and then just a stellar main event saves it. And that gains us popularity in 13 regions. We'll take a look and see what kind of impact it's had on a few things. And then we'll have a look at the Continental Classic brackets. We're making $500,000 a show, so that's good. Obviously, I'd like to make a bit more profit so we can start making some investments, but 100 million is a good start. Obviously, WWE have 6 times that, so it's going to be tricky. And you can see highlighted in yellow the places we've gained pop. So not a +1, but maybe like a 0.5. And no media scrum. I was quite happy with that. I say I've got an idea of 2 of the matches for Battle of the Belts. I'll probably put in a trios match. I'll need to try and build something up for that. Because ideally, it would have been the Bucks and Jack Perry, but me wanting to go Jack Perry, Christopher Daniels, means I'll probably need to find another team to face the Lucha Bros and Vikingo. I actually forgot who the other tag champ was. Right. Michael Hayes and Patrick Scott are getting on pretty well. Vampiro's injured and he's probably leaving AAA. Confirmed. Goto to stay with New Japan. Goto's 45, so it's not something I'd really want to touch. He'd probably fit our product perfectly. Curiosity. Exclusive written. I wouldn't want to bring him in exclusive written, so he'd be somebody I'd probably more want to loan him. WWE had Saturday night's main event. The MVP was Drew McIntyre. As he defeated Sheamus in the main event. Who the hell's the posse? Devlin and... Are they really called the posse? Okay. Interesting. Also meant to say as well, on the Friday we had the final ROH event. I can't remember what the pay-per-view is, but I could just check. That'd make it a lot easier. Final battle. And Billy Starks wins the vacant women's championship by defeating Mercedes Martinez. So that's probably ideal. Athena loses it, and then Billy Starks get it. You also have, a few of the guys that they've brought in on deals just to boost Ring of Honor, really. So that's the likes of Ishimori is in a written deal. Who else do we have in with EJ and Duka? You can see the likes of Vert Vixen, Millie McKenzie. And I think there was one more, but there's plenty down there. And there's even some we can look at bringing up, the likes of your Scorpio Skies as well. And Shun Skywalker, that's the other one. But I just wanted to bulk up a bit overness into the situation at Ring of Honor. Anything else here that directly affects us? Booking team in ROH. They're getting on well. And I think that's it. So apart from that, Goto's contract. Guevara is time to heal. And Collision got a 1.22 rating. And Orange Cassidy says that Chris Statlander is going to be a star. She's only 29. Definitely a lot of skills that are in a good position. Is there anything that's improved? Not that I can see. But I'm hoping when she goes against Athena that should certainly help her. And obviously her troublesome knee because of the ACL she had. Or whatever cruciate ligament damage she had. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Much appreciated. We're now on the go home week to Battle of the Belts. And then we'll have, obviously that'll be, so it'll be a situation where you've got Dynamite on its own. And then we'll have a second video where it'll be the roundup of Rampage, and then we'll do Collision. And then we'll do Battle of the Belts, because Battle of the Belts obviously is only an hour show, so there's no point in doing that as a standalone. And then a week after that, World's End, and then we can look at stuff such as the Power 500, the annual awards, and the end of year awards for AEW. And I should probably work on the morale of the backstage area as well. Anyway, just watching, then check out the Fantasy Booker subreddit, great also off the forums, twdb.com, and bethebooker.net. Until next time, it's Maxwell. Wee thumbs up, be appreciated. See you soon. Bye bye.